your most powerful ability in the game acquired, the run is going to get quite a bit more crazy very soon.
Absolutely massive, Toadette. Grips just took a few deaths getting sent back to that safety state.
I heard you guys like lore, right? Well, we have go fast left, we have go fast up with enemy, we have go fast down, and now we have go fast up without enemy. Charge jump acquired.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament 2022. We are back with another match in our round of 32, the first round of the tournament. And our runners today for this race are Cleanfel and MyBobiesAreSoft, Clean versus Bobbies. My name is Turtle, and I'm joined today by my co-commentator Absagami. How are you doing, Abso?
I'm doing pretty fine, thank you. And you know why I'm very fine today?
Why is that,
because
Abso?
this match is going to be very close. We've got Bobies and Cleanfel who's got PBs that are like 7 seconds apart. They're both very, very good runners. And well, I feel like this match is going to be one of the most interesting of the round of 32.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, these runners, PBs 7 seconds apart. I believe it's Bobbies who's actually 7 seconds in the lead on the official leaderboards. But
yeah, Bobies is
something
7 seconons ahead, sorry. No, go on, go on.
Something that we've seen throughout our preliminaries especially is that while Bobbies can be much faster, or not much faster, 7 seconds faster, he is a little bit less consistent than Clean. And that has allowed Clean in the preliminaries specifically to get the higher seed. So Clean specifically does practice for consistency, and that might be a huge player in a tournament setting like this, where you're live, you have nerves, there's pressure, and anything and everything can go wrong, potentially.
Absolutely, and a good way to illustrate how Cleanfel is playing safe is the fact it doesn't go for double bashes or storm cancels that it doesn't master very well, while Bobbies, he does do these double bashes and storm cancels that he's not a master at. And moreover, Bobbies has started implementing new strategies like Worm Skip, which he still isn't very consistent at. So I don't know if he will be doing it in this match, but we might see a match of risky and fast versus safe and a bit slower here.
And as we are about to get started, we're going to get right into that. Clean on your left, again, is going to be the one playing a little bit safer. Bobby's on the right, playing a little more risky. Hopefully we see a great race between these two very, very similarly skilled runners with lead changes and everything. But to start, we're going to both skip the prologue, and Clean is off to a very, very slight lead, giving us a hearts with his mouse. Heart back to you, Clean, as we start this race off for real.
Yeah, both players are going to run and get sign for, well, the Spirit Flame ability, which allows them to hit enemies. There are a set of fairly precise movements to do. Well, the first part is kinda trivial, but going towards wall jump right after that is going to show whether one runner or the other has started optimizing their run a lot.
Yeah, even in the early sections of the game when we have basically no abilities other than walking and jumping, you can already see runners are able to gain and save just little bits of time here and there. Glades can be a very indicative split of a runner's skill because of how often runners will practice, even with the limited skills that we have, getting every single second shaved off of this first split.
Yeah, and well, Glades is also one of the most RNG heavy part of the run with the pickups that are spawning. They have 10% chance of spawning the energy and the health. And well, they might lose you 2 times 40 frames if you're not lucky.
Yep, and we did even see an energy drop, a 10% there from Bobby's. Luckily, it was on one of the frogs that he doesn't pick up the experience for, so he didn't lose time there, but every single enemy, and even some of the brambles that drop experience, have that chance. And so we're about to break a lot of brambles heading further in.
And here we see Bobby's taking an advantage, since Cleanfel made a little mistake on the bumper here. Moreover, Bobby got the stack on the bumper, which shouldn't help him a lot. It's not something you want to happen. But still, that was enough to get a slight lead, like 1 or 2 seconds over his opponent.
And speaking of things you don't want to happen, Clean did get a health drop, but he managed to avoid it there, so he won't be losing that 40 frames to that. But that does mean his EXP route might be a little bit off. And since we use several very well-timed level ups in the early game, he'll have to be very cognizant of that, continuing his way through with maybe just slightly less EXP than he wanted, since he had to dodge that health.
Yeah, but fortunately they're taking 1 HP here, so they're back to full health right now, and there shouldn't be an health animation anymore for them, so they can afford picking up 1 health wherever they want without taking these 40 frames. And both of them are on their way to get another keystone here, so as we've seen, they're playing 4 HP, and the route they're doing is called Terra Break. So they will be getting, well, they will be doing the same route, and it will be very easy to compare their current standings.
And we do see both of our runners get their precise level up, jumping on that flower and getting enough EXP to make that level up explosion. That'll make the way up just a little bit easier, as we are coming into our first skill, Bobby's. Just a slight lead, but we are only about a 1/10 of the way through this run so far, and there is so much more that can happen.
Yeah, this is very close, almost synchronized at this point. But one thing that should be noted is that Cleanfel feels pretty uncomfortable in Blackfoot Burrows, which might not be the case for Bobby.
Yeah, Clean definitely mentioned to both of us ahead of the race that he feels like if he can get into the groove early on, that'll be great for him going forward. So this first part is exactly what he's looking to do very, very well. And we've seen some slight slip-ups, but...
Oh god, they're both missing that wall jump on the moving platform. Bobby's goes to the right, and Cleanfel chooses to just wait and get it on its way back. The lead is still in Bobby's hand. It looks like it kinda grew for like a second or two, but it's still not something that Cleanfel can't catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen so many races, even this early in the tournament, that have gone back and forth. But with every slight misstep, that lead for Bobby seems to be growing ever so slightly, and those do add up. Especially in a game like this where there are tiny little time saves and time losses that could happen all over the place. And Bobby's will be making it down and starting up his
essay,
save anywhere.
So this essay allows you to just skip a cutscene. You enter the cutscene, save by taking an ability point, and the game will think, well, you've watched the cutscene since it started. Oh my god, Bobby's, no. He saved too early. He will now be watching Race's dad. In the meanwhile, Cleanfel just still goes his way. And yes, something we haven't said, and I thought I should note it, was that Bobby is watching the stream, so him taking a lead would help him build confidence. But right now, not so much.
Luckily for Bobby's, that is one of the shortest cutscenes in the game. There are some coming up later on towards the end of the run that are a minute or more long. So skipping one of those or all of those is essential. Whereas that one itself, it definitely lost him quite a bit of time, but it's absolutely not as bad as it could have been, as he is still in Blackroot and also has a slight advantage later on of not having the slow zone there, though most runners do know dash glide to skip that anyways.
I want to point that Bobby's did something very clever by dropping a save on the way to the orb, because if he died while getting the orb, he would have had to rewatch this cutscene, So this saves allows him to, well, make a mistake here. It's a good safety.
Safety
He's
saves
now
ever
going
present
through,
in this tournament.
yeah. Safety saves are extremely important. He's now going through the lasers. Well, not getting the fast cycle, but honestly, who gets to what's the fast cycle here? While Cleanfel, he is enabling this little lantern. I hope he didn't mess up his cycle by missing the little jump here. Alright, he's got it.
Good, good.
He's got his cycle, and he will be moving towards, well, the dash skill. That is one of the most important skills of any OriSpeedrun.
Hence
Well,
why we get
except
it
any
so
person.
early. We are also probably from both runners going to see a skip of some sort. There are many, many different variations of different skips that can be done on these tree animations. It looks like Cleanfel is going for one where he saves on a specific part of the floor, brings over the orb, places the save anywhere, and then will run back and save after the orb drops, or bring back the orb with him. That's another way to do it. And that will allow him to stack
Yeah.
these cutscenes and move during the animation for when he gets the tree.
And Bobies isn't going for the blind movements, so we'll be seeing blind movements from Cleanfel here. Well, we're not seeing anything since it's blind movements. And
Oh,
Bobies,
no.
oh my god, no. He missed blind movements, he fell, and he lost a ton of time. Bobies will be in the lead now, after he gets his dash. Or will he be on the lead? Oh my god, no, it's a second death.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh, this is hard, and this hits the nerves really hard. Especially since Cleanfel doesn't know Bobby's watched the cutscene at the entrance. So he might be thinking he's very far behind now.
Yeah. And the reason he respawned in the pit is that the blind movement saves after the cutscene finishes. So typically you're at the tree when that happens, but in Cleanfel's case, he was falling down a pit when the game saved. That death lost him even more time as he had to start climbing back up again, and that has given Bobby's back the lead as both of our runners are now going into Frankie Walk. This is a sequence break, which lets our runners use 2 energy to open a 4 energy door, and we'll get them into the the right side of the map much sooner than they
Yes,
otherwise
it
would.
will allow them to reach that double jump tree really quickly. Both are playing Magnet, so it's very easy to get this this sequence break. The swim is still a bit risky. Bobby's does it very well with his 4 HPs. And he will be trying to do God Cycle, if I'm not wrong. At least that's what he told me earlier this afternoon on his tree. But he's really not consistent at it. We know Cleanfel will not be trying for God Cycle here. So Bobby, show us. I didn't get it.
It is such an incredibly tough trick. I believe we've only seen like one runner throughout this entire best of 32 or round of 32 so far get it. That would be our second seed. It's just such a tight timing, but neither of our runners are going to get it.
Only 8 seconds. It's a very tight timing. It's only 8 seconds, and you have a risk of dying here. And well, getting one framed on this trick would lose Bobby's a huge amount of time, since, well, he opens the door to get the health cell when climbing towards Ginso, so he doesn't have enough energy to save on his way down. And dying here would just bring him back to Blackroot Burrows. And we're seeing Cleanfel doing new blind movements here.
Yep. This one doesn't save, I believe, as much time as that first one, but it is a lot harder to fall down a giant pit because there is no giant pit. And Cleanfel does that blind movement absolutely beautifully, being almost halfway up the wall by the time the camera snaps back. That's going to let him catch up a little bit of time as they are now moving out of double jump split and onto one of the more technical movement-heavy splits of the game. Enter Ginso.
He had it, Bobbies. He almost did. Oh my god. The platform is moving so hard now. He's going to be overtaken by his opponents. Yes. Cleanfel is taking the advantage here. The Grotto exit didn't go well for Bobbies. Oh my god. This is terrifying.
Yeah,
Alright.
and once this platform
That
gets
doesn't
swinging, it can
work,
be.
Bobbies.
Oh, it's still swinging. He tried to reset it there with a save, but
And he gets it now. He's maybe 10 seconds behind his opponent. Going for the baguette jump, he gets it. The run is validated. In the meanwhile, Cleanfel is skipping all these little cutscenes here, saving, well, half a second or so each cutscene, with each cutscene skipped. And he's reaching Water Vein. It's the key to open the first dungeon that we'll be seeing in a few minutes here. Bobbies just does the same behind. He skips cutscenes here and there. He follows with his little... well, he's not in the lead, so how do you say it?
and something else that we are going to see here is pretty much the main route divergence is Bobby does grab an extra health right here. It takes a little bit of time. With double jump and wall jump, you can get this health cell a lot easier, and that will help provide some safety for Bobbies, especially in areas later on like Sorrow Pass, which the spikes in there deal 4 damage and will kill Cleanfel in 1 hit, while Bobbies can take 1 hit and keep going.
Something worth mentioning too is that Cleanfel also said that Sorobash was his bigger enemy in this run, so he might lose quite a bit of time there, while Bobbies will be much safer in his attempts.
Yeah, Sorrow Bash is absolutely a massive wall, and once you start failing it, the jitteriness and nerves will make it even worse, just like almost every major trick in this game. So we'll just keep our bated breath for that moment. But for now, we're going
here,
into the Ginso tree.
Getting into Ginso. Well, he wasn't very clean on his way to Ginso, so he had to kill the slime on the way there. But he's keeping quite a bit of an advantage, maybe 20 seconds now, over his opponent. Bobby's getting the teleporter and climbing the Ginso tree. So the Ginso tree is a very heavy platforming place. If you make mistakes here, you can start having your nerves just destroy your movements and lose quite a bit of time. Oh, that was very scary from Cleanfel. He's taking the upper route, which is quite the usual way of playing for Terrorblade players. Well, especially for magnetless player, I should say. Getting a clean run through the teleporters here. Oh, damage boosts. Alright, the puzzle room now. And Bobbies is following with the teleporter room to avoiding the gyms. Bobbies is losing time here, messing up his movements, while Cleanfel's just, well, doing this puzzle not the way it's intended to be.
And Bobby's with that first fall in this this hanging platform room, the cycles for little gamers here are slightly off, and that caused him to stumble again. But he does make it through to survive with enough health to keep progressing through. And he'll now be chasing up into the boulder room and the puzzle room, while Cleanfel is fighting this mini boss. This thing is very, very annoying, is showing up all over the place for Clean, but he takes it out very, very expertly, and will now go through a couple more rooms to get enough keystones to get to the Bash tree.
Yes, in this place the spikes deal 2 damage, so dropping the save before entering this room allows Cleanfel to have 3 HPs, and to not be in danger of dying allows him even a little damage boost here. And there he goes with the keystones, opening the door, getting Bash very quickly, and taking quite the lead over Bobbies, who is still at the mini-boss.
Yeah, just slight troubles here and there, nothing major since BRB for both runners, but every little time save does matter for Clean, as he is slightly extending the run, as he is going up with Bash. There are a lot more tricks that can be pulled off, and if Bobbies can get some great double bashes, he could potentially save quite a bit of time in almost every area from here on out.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about Bash when he got it, but just watching the run tells you everything you need to know. It's such a great ability that was introduced in this game. It allows you to just take a projectile or an enemy and throw Ori wherever you want with this little arrow thing that appears. And there we go for key dupe from Cleanfel. He's getting keys. He's dying on, well, the key range of the door, I guess I could say. And the key reappear right after that. So we get 7 keys from this place. We'll see it again from Bobby's side now, while Cleanfel is doing the mini-boss. And thanks to our tracker, we know there's a 1 minute difference between both players. So yeah, games so haven't been very nice to Bobby's. But
with such a movement-heavy area and such a vertical area too, falling down and slipping.
Oh
up
no,
and
Bobby's!
Oh,
Did you see this double bash? I've never seen that before.
it was just slightly too high, I think, and just couldn't kill the mortar. But he gets it on the second try. That does let him save slightly closer to the keystone door, making his dupes slightly faster. But I don't know if that will be worth
Oh no,
it in the end.
Bobby's!
And
Oh,
takes
the
another death
nerves.
for the spikes. Oh
I
boy.
think the nerves are really slowing him down here. In the meanwhile, Cleanfel, he's, well, doing blind movements here. Not optimized, but these are blind movements allowing him to get closer to Ringo. Ringo is a great friend of ours.
Yeah,
he will
friend,
help
I'll
us.
say.
Alright. Abusing his Ringo employee in order to enter a swamp. Oh, he didn't kill Ringo. Ringo is alive.
Bobby's, again, with his double bashes, can do a faster version of that. Again, potentially, but he'll need to be able to do that, pretty much all of those double bash tricks, and as well as some other tricks, if Cleanfel keeps going at this rate, without having any more large mess-ups, which Clean has been proving himself ever since that fall in the Blackroot Burrows blind movement. He's definitely caught his stride back up. It is now at the Stomp Tree, as Bobby is only barely just teleporting back out of Ginso.
Assuming Bobby's get good movements here, he should be maybe 1 minute and 20 seconds behind. So Cleanfel is just widening the gap, and he's proving that he's the consistent player here.
Yeah, in a live setting like this, consistency really is key. You don't get any resets. You don't get to. You have to keep moving from wherever you happen to screw up, and well, with safety saves and with consistent movement, that's all you can really do to keep yourself moving forward in a race like this.
I think a number that really helps us illustrate how Cleanfel has played well during this race is the fact that he's only 20 seconds behind his PB, despite the major fall in BRB. So he may very well PB at the end of this race if he keeps being that consistent throughout the run. In the meanwhile, Bobby's is reaching the stomp area, and we'll soon know how far behind he is.
Cleanfel, again, when we're talking about 20 seconds, there was just a 20 skip. A little bit of problems with the frog being a jerk, as all frogs are, but he does make it through. That saves, again, another cutscene that we never want to watch. Hopefully Bobby's will be able to skip it as well, but Clean doing it so masterfully is just putting on a showcase of this middle part of the game.
It's a 1 minute and 20 seconds difference at Stomp. So yeah, my estimation were correct, but it's not the end. Well, like I said before, Sorobash is one of Cleanfel's biggest enemies, so Bobby's may be able to catch up quite a bit of time there. But for now, Cleanfel is clean, just like his name tells you. And he's going to go and skip some cutscenes here after getting the Charge Flame, while Bobby's will be attempting Kuro cutscene skip.
Yeah. This middle part of the run here is definitely full of a lot of crazy tricks. The Kuro cutscene skip, maybe not crazy, but difficult. And we do see Bobby's slightly enter the cutscene trigger, and that will have the bird spawn in. You lose all 20-ish seconds of that, watching this bird swoop down, unfortunately. But even beyond that, where we're seeing Clean go, there is Fast Stompless and there is Sorobash right after that. Very difficult tricks. Again, we talked about Sorrow Bash, but Fast Stompless as well. Just the slightest misangle or even the spider just deciding not to shoot correctly can make you reset that trick multiple times and could be a huge time loss for either of our runners, as Cleanfel is about to head into that area now, climbing up this valley shaft, seeing some birds before we get to the spiders that will help him perform the trick.
Alright, he's going for Fast Stompless. We've seen him not taking the AC here. He's dropping a save in case of... That looked not very good. Maybe it's his setup. It's fine.
I always believe it's impossible as a commentator to see the angle, and there we go.
Look,
the runner always knows what their
it was his setup. Yeah. That was a very good one. First try, like the second projectile, I think, or the third one. So very clean Fast Stompless from Cleanfel. And he's going to get into trying Sorrow Bash. In the meanwhile, Bobbies will soon reach the peg that opens the way to Valley. Alright, Cleanfel leveling up C-Dash, and he's going to show us the Rocket Jump. So what exactly is a Rocket Jump?
A Rocket Jump is a skill that's not technically a skill, it's more of a glitch or an exploit of the game engine, where if you charge dash at an enemy above you and then immediately cancel it with a jump, the game decides, oh, you're still flying upwards and we're not going to stop your momentum. And it lets you do some very, very fast things. Now that Clean has charge dash, he's going to be using rocket jumps like that, and he's going to use another one with this frog right here.
And another one yet.
They're just such a fast movement of, it's a fast way of going up. And in this very vertical area of Sorrow, they're just so, so important.
And Cleanfel has been extremely clean on this Sorrow area. Oh no, one energy missing. He's done first try Sorrow Bash, he did everything correctly, leading to this charge jump. I wonder how far ahead he is, but honestly it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. For Bobby, he does get first try Fast Stompless as well. Again, a trick that can easily go wrong, but Bobby nails it, and he will be grabbing his feather and doing the same chain of a billion rocket jumps, as well as some other fancy movement with some birds to get into Sorrow. Meanwhile, we do see
Clean
blind.
died twice.
Yeah.
He died twice getting out there, but these are very minor deaths. And he's doing Terror Break? Yes, breaking the roof here in order to get to Sunstone, because there's still no Sunstone skip. Bobby's with the double bashes, pretty good. Alright, yes, Sorrow Bash is done. And maybe Cleanfel can watch the Sunstone cutscene. Maybe. Maybe we can get some lore here.
We've already seen it that when you're doing a save anyway, just slightly mistiming the press, you got to watch the entire cutscene. But we'll see. It looked like he got through. Yes, he did. We're not going to be watching that cutscene. There's still one more save anywhere cutscene, the racist dad cutscene in right before the grenade tree. That would be a lot of time for either of our runners to watch, and we'll see if they end up being able to skip that, as that is one of the last chunks of the run.
The time difference between both players seems to remain consistent at around a minute and 20 seconds, maybe a minute and 30 seconds now. So yeah, Bobby has been keeping up with Cleanfel's clean movements. But yeah, maybe Bobby should change his name into My Bobbies Are Clean in order to increase his, well, level of gameplay.
Yeah, the clean puns just right them to where, as again in this split especially, he does take a little bit of damage there, but with all of the skills our runners have, they can absolutely just show off their stuff super well in Misty. Again, Clean does with a kill the frog there a little bit, but he will still be able to make it out. Can't take any more damage since he did take that one hit of spikes, unless he places a save here. And he will, so that'll get him a little bit of safety as he floats down through this spike pit and is almost on his way, already halfway through Misty, to Climb Tree.
Yes, Climb Tree is the first checkpoint in Misty. he'll be getting the skill right here, and he'll be doing the second part of Misty. That is a very dangerous area. Well, thankfully he's playing 4 HP, so he's not at risk of getting one shot by the spikes, but still he has to keep being careful here.
And he did take a little bit of damage from that falling slime there, meaning that he cannot anymore take a damage from the spikes. There are plenty of areas to place a safety save right there, for example, but placing down a safety save in this area means you have less energy. Things like charge dashes and rocket jumps. So Clean will have to balance that out now that he's had to place that safety save, or maybe he routes that in. There's so many different places to route in safety saves in Misty, depending on your confidence level and how well prepared you want to be.
And he takes another damage here, but thankfully saving just gives you back an HP once you've got the right skills in the green skill tree. So he's been able to take a second damage boost during the second part of Misty, and he's going for a risky rocket jump here in mid-bolts, getting it off, while Bobby's reaches climb.
Yeah, just the movement in Misty is phenomenal to watch. Both our runners make it look like a piece of cake.
Oh, nice mini-boss!
What mini-boss?
Oh, it's very clean. Very clean from... well, clean. I should stop saying clean. Very nicely done from Cleanfel. Here, Bobby's is maybe... yes, he's getting the keystone, he's falling through. The level up was late on Cleanfel's side, but it's fine, he gets it on a slime, and he will be going back to Blackwood Burrows.
I would like to point out something that our truck has said. Thanks to Bobby's little slightly more advanced tricks, including double bashing, he has managed to catch up 15 seconds between glide and climb trees. But that is still a minute and 15 difference between them, as we are running out of splits to catch up time on. There's just grenade left, and then they go to the end of the game.
Yes, but to the end of the game there's a trap. It's called Door Warp, and this one can lose you quite a bit of time if you miss it once. Door Warp, which is a frame perfect trick, and not a very forgiving one. Alright, Clean is getting 2 grenade, skipping Race that too. Very well. Bobby's is entering the Atsus Torch. No, the orb rather area of the Misty Woods. And he's trying to catch up. Maybe he's successfully got some more time over his opponent. Waiting for the truck's timing.
Something that I do want to point out, now that we do have charge jump and climb and grenade, if you were just watching Cleanfel, you just saw the first grenade jump. That is another one-frame trick that is a lot like rocket jumping in that the game just kind of forgets to say, we're going to slow your momentum. So you just keep on rocketing through the air, this time sideways. And we will almost certainly see some more later. So if you ever see our runners grab a wall, just keep an eye out, as that movement is really, really exquisite to watch.
And we are learning now that Clean is at a plus 27 rather from his PB, so he's still on a high 32 pace here, which makes this an exceptionally good run from him, especially on a tournament setting.
Yeah, absolutely. He mentioned before the run that he was really hoping to get a good run through double jump, because that is where his nerves typically tend to go away, and he gets into the groove. And we saw him take a huge death and a huge grenade jump there, but he fell in Blackwood Burrows and has managed to come back from that nervous error, and has just been playing incredibly, incredibly well since then, the entire rest of the run.
This was a very scary grenade jump from Cleanfel here. He'll be attempting now Door Warp, and maybe he will just seal the deal. Yeah, he does. Ready for the final escape. And, well, we should expect him to win, but who knows, maybe he will do a few mistakes that will Bobby's to just catch up.
And Bobby's is catching up. Another 2 seconds saved since time, but 2 seconds at a time is not going to be enough when Clean is just performing this well. Already in the final escape, typically less than 2 minutes from here until he hits the time at the end of the run. And Bobby still needs to get all the way through Horror Field, which can happen in a split second with a well-timed grenade jump, or just stomp cancels across. So he'll be having to do door work, but Clean in the elemental room, about to do a bit of poison swim. He is so close to finishing out this race.
Right, the 5 HP swim for Clean here. And he gets them now. He's, well, pretty much sure he will finish ahead of Bobby's. Alright, grenade jump. Good position, good grenade jump, and it's GG. Cleanfel will be winning this race with a high 32, something like 30-40, while Bobby's attempts worm skip. So worm skips allows you to just skip the core cutscene here. Oh, I missed it.
Bobby's adding one more difficult trick to the end of the run. He did nail door warp, absolutely, but worm skip can be very, very difficult even to begin pulling off, and once you do it, you have to move a little bit blind through the beginning of the final escape. So for the end of this run, Bobby's is just going to watch the cutscene normally and will be starting his final escape. Again, about a little less than 2 minutes, maybe even a minute 30, since he's already all the way into the lantern room. But on Clean side, we do see he has won a final time of 32:47. Amazing run from Clean.
Yes, consistency prevailed in this race, with Clean getting a nice 32 and Bobby's is going to maybe get a high 33 or 34, depending on his grenade jump here. No, I think it's a 34 anyway. Clean grenade jump here from Bobby's. And yep, this is the end of the race now. Cleanfel won. Well, that was to be expected since he was the higher seed. But it was a pretty interesting race, despite not being that close in the end.
Yeah, it definitely just showed off the power of Cleanfel's practicing for his consistency, just knowing every single trick he was going to attempt through the run, and pulling them off pretty much all back to back to back. Very, very well. Bobby's still putting on a great show himself, getting what looks to be, just above 34 seconds. 34:01 will be his final time. Definitely was catching up by second. It was just that mid-game where he was about a minute behind. It was too much for him to overcome.
Yes, a few deaths here and there, especially on the mid-game, just, well, were far too much for him to handle. And now we're seeing, well, the Blind Forest getting saved by Ori, the poor Kuro dying. The end of this game is so emotional.
Actually, quick, something that Bobby said in the Racetime chat. He got enough golds that his sum of best improved by 7 whole seconds across that run.
Wow.
Yeah, some of his splits were just incredible. Something that Bobby, despite in the him losing this race, props to Bobby for that. Golds that his sum of losing gold or getting lots of golds often means another PB. He got one 4 days ago. Who knows when his next one is going to be? Hopefully pretty soon.
And Cleanfel is joining us for an interview here.
Hello.
Hey Clean, very good race from you. You were like 30 seconds over your PB, which is pretty impressive on a tournament race.
Thank you. I really think, like, after everything that happened in Blackroot, I actually think, like, I don't even remember, like, the next 3 splits, because I golded 2 of them. I basically was a robot, because I was just, like, my mind went blank, because I was like, oh, okay, that's how it's going to be? Well, oh, man.
Going Ultra Instinct on the following split.
I went Ultra Instinct. I really just blanked for the next 3 splits. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm at Charge Flame now. Okay. Oh, my gosh.
More golds are always a sight to behold, especially in a tournament race like this. Bobby's both just golded quite a few splits. Congratulations on also golding your name in this end screen.
Oh, perfect.
And Bobies just joined us too for the interview.
Yes, hello.
Hey, Bobies.
GG, Bobies.
Thank you. GG's to you. Pops on winning.
So, how good was the lore, Bobies?
It was very enjoyable to watch the lore at the start. This run was just excellent, full of random ass time losses. It was really funny. Just those 20 seconds at the start pretty much showcased what my whole run was. It was just chaotic but fun at the same time.
Alright, so the both of you had some very clean late game, but the mid game was sometimes a bit difficult for Bobies. What happens to you? What happened to you during Ginso?
Oh, Ginzo? Ginzo was not even the worst. There was like so much mess. I guess Ginzo was pretty bad. I cursed myself. I asked Rin to put Ginzo as the background, and I said to Rin, yeah, this will probably curse me in my run, and sort of did. I don't think Ginzo was the worst though. It was really bad, but before Ginzo was also terrible. That grotto skip was just absurdly bad. I never got such a wavy log. It was just going all over the place, and I couldn't do anything about it. And I was like, okay.
So I thought of something for you, Bobies. You know, your nickname is MyBobiesAreSoft. How about changing it to MyBobiesAreClean to get more consistency on your run?
I should maybe try that out. Honestly, I'll take note of that. Hopefully, it'll affect my runs.
Well, that was my joke, but I think the chat's joke with Cleanfel has been, well, top tier all through the race. Like, that was very funny.
I'll watch it back for you guys. I'll count. I'll count how many were there, for sure.
But like, they started and everyone just started kept on doing new jokes with Cleanfel. It was very, very amazing from the chat.
I'm flattered, guys. Thank you.
So you've won your match. You will be playing against the winner of the Dodo versus Cleanfel match. Well, do you have an idea of who will win this match, and do you think you can win against the winner of this other match?
Yeah, okay. Those are two names I'm familiar with. I have yet to race either of them. Cleanfel I know all too well. My fellow Cleanfel buddy who predicted me to win the rando tournament, the only one. So a lot of respect for him. I'd love to play him. Have yet to, and also to do as well. Kind of a veteran around these parts. He was very good as well. I'd be honored to face both of them. I'm always looking for new faces. I think just pure seeding wise, Dudu will probably come out of that on top. And I think I've showcased a really decent run here that like started off so terrible, but I picked it up and ended up still getting a 32 out of it, which I'm very happy about. If I want to put on a good showcase there, I'm definitely going to, in between those two races, I'm going to have to get some new tech into my run, maybe some stomp cancels, new tech that's been learned, just kind of crunch down that time, as well as some hope from some a little bit of getting into Deuce part. But I think that either matchup I'll be very excited for, and I'm glad I'm still moving on.
I've been asking questions up until now. Maybe Turtle wants to ask question to Bobies or Cleanfel.
Honestly, you've been covering it so well, man. Thank you for that. I guess there's always one question that we have to end off the questionnaire with. Bobbies, you unfortunately are going to be out of this tournament after this race, but do you have any more plans for any Ori categories, Ori games, other games? What's next for you?
Well, honestly, just running all skills is probably what I'm gonna do next. Trying to get a PB that could be in the 31s at least, and see if I can get any further with that. I'm pretty happy with like the PB I have currently, but I really want to like continue running it, and especially when the tournament going on, it's just fun to play with a bunch of other people. So that's nice.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this tournament, both Bobbies and Clean. It was a great race, and I hope you will watch it back because it was phenomenal to watch. Thank you.
Yeah, and tomorrow there are more races coming, which are, well, Sirius versus Clabe and me versus Noxiru. But first, we will be followed in 15 minutes by Luster versus Ryan race, which may not be a match as close as this one, but should still be very interesting to watch.
So stay tuned until then. But for now, I would just like to thank, of course, Abso for doing co-commentary with me, as well as lovely French team that we have here today. Fupio on truck and Rin doing the restream for us. So again, stay tuned for that next race coming up just after a quick break. And thank you everyone so much for watching.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you Turtle. Thanks to the restreamer, the trucker, everyone. That was an amazing job.